Hello, boys and girls. It is Miss Olvera here with week 2. We are in week 2, day 5. So today I will be reading chapters 7 and 8 of My Weird School with Mr. Burke is Berserk. And then I will go ahead and in another video I will read the other 2 chapters that we have. I think it's 2 or maybe 3. I don't remember. But we will go ahead and get started. That way you can AR test on this book later today, or you can do it during the weekend, or you can get back to it next week. It's up to you whenever you want to AR test. That's why these videos are so cool, because you can always go back and watch them. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so chapter 7, it's called Gold Fever. It says, gold! Shouted Ryan. Gold! Shouted Michael. Gold! Shouted Neil the nude kid. Gold! I shouted. Just in case you were wondering, we were all shouting gold. Kids from every corner of the playground, they came running over to see what was going on. Mr. Burke found gold! Mr. Burke found gold! Mr. Burke found gold! Just in case you were wondering, lots of kids were talking about how Mr. Burke found gold. Everybody crowded around him as he held up a chunk of gold. Well, I'll be dogged, Mr. Burke said. My great-great-grandpappy lived over yonder back in 48. He told me there was a heap of gold left in the ground after the big gold rush ended. And I reckon it was right here. Mrs. Jaffe came running out to the playground. What's all the fuss about? She asked. Mr. Burke found a piece of gold where the monkey bars used to be, I told her. I always figured there was gold down there, he said. And look, here is the picture. But I'll get on it on that account on them dang monkey bars. Is it okay with y'all if you do a little digging out here? You betcha, said Mrs. Jaffe. Dig, baby, dig. Our reading specialist, Mr. Mackey, he came running out of the school and he was pushing a wheelbarrow. Did somebody say gold? He asked, all excited. Where did you get a wheelbarrow? Ryan asked Mr. Mackey. From Rent-A-Wheelbarrow, said Mr. Mackey. You can rent anything. Suddenly, the other teachers came running out of the school. Miss Coco, Miss Holly, Mr. Docker, Miss Small, all of them. They were wearing overalls and miners' helmets. Some of them were carrying pickaxes and shovels and pans, and, well, I guess they rented those too. Yee-haw! They were all shouting, gold! Don't any of you have classes to teach? Asked Andrea. Classes? Shouted our librarian. Miss Rupee, who cares about classes? There's gold in them Thar hills. I'll fix 'em to fetch me some dang a bit, said our speech teacher, Miss Laney. Yee-haw, shouted Mr. Granite. Why is everyone suddenly talking like it's the Wild West? I asked. 'Cause we got the gold fever, young feller, said Mr. Mackey, and it drives a man crazy. I'll tell ya, crazy. I'm crazier than a run-over coon, shouted our health teacher, Miss Leakey. I'm crazier than a popcorn on a hot stove, shouted Mr. Granite. Yee-haw, shouted Mrs. Coco. Grown-ups are so weird. Right, boys and girls? Grown-ups, they're weird. The teachers started digging holes all over the place and saying words that I've never heard of, like tarnation and varmints and ornery. Me and the other kids, we just watched them. At least it was better than going to class. Found me a nugget, y'all, Miss Holly suddenly shouted. Yee-haw! A chicken nugget? I asked. No, a gold nugget. That's funny. I always thought nuggets came from chickens. We all gathered around so we can look at Miss Holly's nugget. Look at the way it shines, she said. That there nugget is a pretty as snake on stilts. said Mrs. Rupee. I reckon this may be the biggest strike in over 100 years, said Mr. Burke. The teachers let all out a big yee-haw and started digging all over the place with even more excitement. Ah, found one too, shouted Miss Small. So did I, said Mr. Granite. They were all uncovering gold. That's when a big black car, it pulled up to the playground, and you'll never believe who got out. It was Mayor Hubble, and he was coming over. Suddenly, all the teachers stopped digging. Mayor Hubble was staring at the teachers. And the kids were staring at the teachers and Mayor Hubble. Everybody was staring at each other. You could hear a pin drop. I was sure Mayor Hubble was going to tell them to stop digging and to go back to class. But he didn't. Dig! He hollered. Keep digging! And that's the end of chapter 7. So now we are going to chapter 8. Are y'all ready? Yes? Let me hear you. Yeah. Okay. Chapter 8. Gilver. Gilver. G because of maybe gold. Ilver because of, silver. Okay. When I got to school the next day, the front door was locked. I went around to the playground and it was filled with teachers. They were digging holes with shovels, pickaxes, and all kinds of mining equipment. I met up with the guys and Alexia. Mrs. Rupee came by on a donkey. Where did you get that donkey? Alexia asked her. It's not a donkey, Mrs. Rupee said. It's a burro. His name is Jose. Where did you get that burro? Michael asked. From Rent-A-Burro, she said. You can rent anything. As we got closer, we saw the weirdest thing in the history of the world. Mr. Mackey, Mr. Burke, Mr. Docker, and Officer Spence all had long beards on their faces, and none of them had beards the day before. How did you grow a beard so fast? Ryan asked Mr. Mackey. It's the gold fever, he replied, a crazy look in his eyes. It does that to a man. We sat and we watched the teachers digging. They were all shouting, "Yee-haw!" and calling each other, "Partner!" That's when a knowing Andrea and Emily, they came over. This is terrible, Andrea said. The teachers should be inside the school helping us learn, not out here digging for gold. That's right, said Emily. What is their problem? Can you possibly be more boring? Asked Alexia. Yeah, take a chill pill, I told Andrea. We get a day off from school. Mr. Burke seemed to know a lot about gold mining, and he was telling the teachers where to dig and what to do. I reckon we need to dig a deeper hole to get at the gold, he told him. Fetch me the dynamite, fellers. They're going to blow a hole in the playground, asked Andrea. That sounds dangerous. Is violence really necessary? What do violins have to do with it? I asked. Not violins, Arlo. Violence. Mr. Burke and Mr. Mackey, they dug a deep hole where the monkey bars used to be, and they put sticks of dynamite in there. Then they stretched a wire from the hole to the other end of the playground. Y'all cover your ears now, Mr. Burke hollered. Then he yelled, Fire in the hole! And pushed down on this handle thing that looked like a bicycle pump. And we all covered our ears. Boom! There was a huge blast. Rocks and dirt went flying all over the place. It was awesome! We got to see it live and in person. You should have been there. Wow, we all said, which is Mom upside down. Blowing stuff up is cool. There should be like a TV channel that shows nothing but stuff being blown up all day long. The explosion blew a giant hole in the ground, and the teachers, they all ran over yelling, Yee-haw! And they climbed into the hole with their shovels and picks. You kids want to come down into the mine with me and poke around? Mr. Burke asked us. Yeah, said me and the guys and Alexia. I don't want to get my school clothes dirty, said Andrea. Me neither, said Emily. Can you possibly be more boring? Asked Alexia. The rest of us climbed into the mine with Mr. Burke. It was dark down there, but some of the teachers had lights on their helmets so we could see. They were digging for a long time, but nobody found any gold. And then Mr. Burke suddenly hit something sharp with his shovel. I think I found something, he said. Is it gold? I asked. No. Is it silver? Asked Alexia. No, Mr. Burke said as he looked at a shiny thing in his hand. It's even more valuable than gold and silver. It's Gilver. Gilver? Asked Ryan. I've never heard of Gilver. What's Gilver? Asked Neil, the nude kid. Gilver is the combination of gold and silver, Mr. Burke said excitedly. And look, there's the Gilver. Yeehaw! Shouted Mr. Mackey. It's more valuable than gold. It's more valuable than silver. It's Gilver. Gilver! Gilver! In case you were wondering, all the teachers were shouting Gilver. This place is filled with the stuff, said Mr. Burke. It's a bonanza. We hit pay dirt, shouted Mr. Mackey, jumping up and down and climbing his heels together. There must be millions of dollars worth of Gilver down there. Billions, shouted Miss Moll. Trillions, shouted Mr. Granite. Do you have any idea what this means for our school? Asked Mrs. Jaffe. We can bring back the art and the music programs. We can buy new computers and smart boards for every classroom, shouted Mrs. Yonkers. We could turn the water fountains back on, shouted Miss Sleeky. We can buy toilet paper for the bathroom, shouted Miss Lazar. Yee-haw! The rest of the teachers shouted. All of our problems were solved. And that is the end of chapter 8. So boys and girls, I just read chapters 7 and 8, and I will do another video with chapters, let me see. It is 9, 10, and a very small 11. So it'll be chapters 9, 10, and 11 on another video. So make sure you watch that video last, and then you can AR test, okay? I hope you enjoyed these 2 chapters, and you all have an awesome weekend. Bye, boys and girls.